Hello again, welcome back to Asgaard, and welcome back to Compact Claustrophobia. So, since the last episode, it hasn't actually been a lot of time, I decided to go ahead and pick back up. I did get, or I already pulled them out, the two cryo-stabilized flux ducts. Of course, that didn't take but a second to do. Also, in here, we should have, yeah, they're done. We got two more glitch giant machines because I got to looking. And to make blocks of diamonds, we're going to need actual diamonds. And the only way to get actual diamonds, I thought we could craft the 9 diamond nuggets together, but no, we do have to have the high impact compactor to make that. So, we're going to have to get the high impact compactor before we can get diamonds whatsoever. And that means diamond pickaxes. So that's completely out of the question without getting our maximum compact machines to actually do that. So went ahead and crafted a couple of those. We can make them really easily now. Also, if we pop, let's see, there's one other thing. Oh yeah, over in the farms area. Oh, and the chicken has made eggs now, so we've got 11 of those. I'm gonna go ahead and just grab one. That's all I need at the moment. But if we pop over to the farm section, I did set up a little area. This actually isn't automated, but I did set up a little area for cocoa beans. Planted some jungle trees, got those, and got cocoa beans. Now these things are super easy to get a lot of because we break all these down. There's 51, which we're going to be using a lot of these, so I'm probably going to need even more than that. I do have a few in the cache, but if you just hold shift through here, you'll notice that it grows all of these. Now, it doesn't grow the 3 high ones. Originally, this was up there, but then I decided to move it down here and just plant, a few extra. And, of course, you could, if you don't have a lot of jungle oak or jungle wood, you can, realistically, you can do it in single things like this and have it so you could set, 4 all the way around it. And you get more out of each piece of wood, of course, but this is just a little bit easier to harvest off of. So I did set this up. Now, if we pop out, of course, we're working on the high impact compactor. I think the first thing that I want to do is get the spawn cow real quick. And for this, we're going to need, of course, lots of wool. And I'm going to need to make some more. That's fine. Okay, so we're going to need 64 brown for starters. So there is that. We are also going to need some black, some light gray, some gray, and some white. Let me go ahead and get the 2 white that we're going to need. We're also going to need the charcoal. And I'm actually just going to go ahead and do like a half stack of just the black pigment real quick. So we'll just toss that into there. But for this, we're going to need 2 black dye. And then we are also going to need 13 light gray and 3 gray. So for the gray, actually one more craft. And then for the light gray, and we're going to need 13 of these. And then let's get our wool. And we'll just get these converted over really, really quick. Okay, so there's all the wool that we need. I'm going to go ahead and throw that into there. And to make the spawn cow, we do use an egg instead of an ender pearl for this one. So we'll go ahead and get this knocked out. And then we'll get on with getting ready for the high impact compactor. And we're going to be doing a little bit of automation today as well. Okay, so this one is, I'm going to assume it's hollow as well. So, oh man. That. And I'm assuming that that is solid as well. So I'm going to get one more light gray. That's fine. And this goes up almost all the way. Alright, so this is going to come out. We're going to have 2 light grays that run out. And then the rest of this on the top is going to be brown. 2. Oh, and then it breaks over right there. Oh, so this cow is actually 4 wide, not 3. I was thinking of the chicken. So we're going to bring it out like that. And so that means that all of this actually comes forward by 1. Like so. That I'm going to assume that the bottom is all brown, I suppose. And then the edges here are all brown except for the eyes. And then we've got 2 little horn bits that come out there. The eyes go in right here. And then white right next to those. Okay, and then the gray that we're missing goes there and there. Alright. We'll get this knocked out pretty easily. Or it's light gray, not gray. That's fine. And there we go. We'll toss that in. Get that running. And that is going to create us our spawn cow. And this is actually crafting quick. There we go. Doo-doo-doom. Okay, and so now we get ourselves a bucket of milk. That's fine. Let's pop over to the animals area. And we're going to set this up. Honestly, I guess it can just free roam around in here. So we'll just drop it in right there. And there's our bucket of milk. And then fermented slime milk, slime block for this. And that's going to be milk with a mushroom. So for this, let's get ourselves some ancient spores. Let's get ourselves some dirt. And we'll just do this here, I suppose. The base is starting to become a mess, but it doesn't really matter to us. Well, we can also just make mushrooms. Yeah, let's do that. 5 brown wool, 2 oak wood. And what does it take to actually make the mushroom? I didn't even look. Seeds. Okay. Toss that in, and we'll get that crafting. See, at this point, you don't really have to have the 3x3 compacting room. I'm going to keep it, and it's like one of the rooms that we did decorate. But, yeah. I've discovered I don't like decorating when I can't build, like, exteriors that much. It's all just interiors. Alright, let's go ahead. I wonder if we can do this. Though I don't think there'll be enough. We're going to try this. I may have to back this up a little bit, though. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, we can build it out here. Well, there's one. And that way we just don't have to make any more mushrooms. They're not hard to make, but this is a whole lot easier than making them for sure. We got 18, that'll be good. Okay, so at this point, what we can do, let's just pop back to the animals area. We'll set this up, dump in our milk, toss, or right click our mushroom in, and there is our slime block. Oh, and we actually made a slime too in the process. That's kind of nifty. So we're ending up with a decent amount of slime balls at this point, and we pretty much can just make all the slime that we want to very, very easily. But that should be plenty of slime for us, so let's pop out now. Pop over here, and let's grab this. And I want to make that. Let's see. These are going to take repeaters for most of this. So there's that. There's that. There's that. There's that. And then the cryo. There's the ultimate energy input hatch. Okay. So that's done now. We have that. Yay. And there's the other cryo stabilized. Next up, let's go ahead actually and make the maximum compact machines. We're going to be doing the 5x5 method. So it's going to be that and that. So we're just going to get a bunch of blocks of iron and redstone. I feel like I need a vacuumulator in this room just to pick up all the junk once it's made, I guess. This isn't too bad because they craft so fast, and they do craft a decent amount at a time. But we're going to go ahead and plan to make... I mean, realistically, we could repurpose this room for the high-impact compactor. Because once we get to the point where we're ready to start making the high-impact compactor, I don't know that we'll need 5x5 compacting anymore. But I'm going to go ahead and just be making 2 of these because they're actually... Once you have 5x5 compacting to do this last part, they're not that expensive. Because before we had to make 6 of these per maximum, and now it's 1-to-1. And the nice thing is, that I'll show you real quick, the glitch giant machines, you still have to do this process, which we automated that, right? But the giants, and of course we're not doing the diamond block method, we're doing this, but the large machines are so much easier now because we can just do this method. Whole lot easier for us. Still a little bit of a process, but once we have ample diamonds, it's not going to be much of a process at all at that point. But this will be the only compact machines. Like, this will probably be the last time that we make compact machines for the series, to be honest. Because I don't foresee us needing them anymore once we get out of the compact world. And we have tons and tons of space. So that should be good for us. It's 98 compact machines. It's basically the same for all of these. What you do is you place out your compact machines in just a big solid block. And I do have 1 ender pearl. I'm going to have to make some more of those. That's fine. But we're just going to build out this big old block here. And then what we're going to do is right in the middle, we're going to put in our glitched giant machine. Right in there. And then we're going to toss in our ender pearl. And there we go. The only thing in the middle, it's hollow in the middle except for the glitched giant machine. But basically just a big solid block of compact machines. Machine blocks. Okay. So there's one of those. And I've got to make one more. To do that, I'm going to have to make some more ender pearls. But that's okay. And once again, ender pearls are just the obsidian, the basically solid obsidian block with redstone in the middle of it, like that. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and make one more maximum compact machine real quick. But that's going to get us taken care of on that. And then we just have to get, I've got to pick that up. We got to make the Tritium Lamp real quick. And then we're going to turn our attention over to the Superconducting Electromagnets, where we are going to be automating some things today to get us ready for that. And that'll be the last thing that we need for setting this thing up. Now, we're still not quite, we're not going to be just, as soon as we set this up, be pushing out of the compact world, but it will be, they basically go hand in hand because it's just a quick little process to get us the rest of the way out. Okay, so let's pop over. We're going to need 8 Tritium Lamps. Whoops, too far out. And the Tritium Lamps, they're hardened glass, correct? To make these, they are. Okay, let me go ahead and grab that. And we'll pop over into here. And let's go ahead. The hydrogen gas we don't need, but we do want the tritium. So we'll go ahead and just plug that up. Ignore. And pump out that liquid tritium. And then it's the fluid infuser to make this. Okay, I may have one of these somewhere, but I don't know where. So I'm just going to make another one. Or maybe my first one, I don't know. But there's our fluid infuser. And we can just set this up. Now we'll put it here. And there we go. Get that running. That's going to make us our Tritium Lamps. So we'll give that just a bit. Now at this point, what we're going to need to do, let's grab ourselves a rock crusher. Okay, so we're going to want one more rock crusher for this. We just need the machine chassis. There's that. And we're going to have to make a bunch of chemical reactors here shortly as well, but we'll get to that. The Igneous Extruder, we're going to want 2 of these. So we'll go ahead. We'll probably speed some of this stuff up here shortly, but I want to get it all in place first because it's so easy to speed these machines up. So there's 2 of those. And to make, I don't think we need an attachment for diorite, but let me double check. No, that is basic. It takes just water input, and granite requires, I believe, the same thing, only water input. Yes, okay. So what we're going to do, let's pop out to here. Let's grab that, and let me just attach that there so it can make us more of these. Yeah, we'll just take 2. I can upgrade these very, very easily. I just got to give it some time. And our Tritium Lamps are kicking away. Now what we're going to do, let's see. Honestly, the general machine shop room would be fine for this. We're going to set that over there. I'll have to set up a tunnel for this. But we're going to do Igneous Extruder here and Igneous Extruder here. We're going to go ahead and clear this out. We're going to set it to make, this one's going to be making granite. And we're going to say you input here, you output over to the right hand side. And then the same thing, but this one's going to be making diorite and input, output. And then right next to it, we're going to do that. That's going to start dumping water into these. And then we're going to have rock crusher like that. And let me get a tunnel real quick so we can get some power going into this. Honestly, I'm just going to run our wire around like that. See, I had built this room, but it didn't quite work out because I got these cables that can't be facaded. So I just finally was just like, whatever. This pack's definitely not like super buildy friendly, but that's okay. Okay, so that's going to start producing, well, I got to put some lava in there also, so let me grab this, and I'm just going to grab 2 buckets of lava. Even if you had 1 millibucket, that's fine. It doesn't matter as long as there's just some lava in this. But we'll go ahead, toss that in, and then these can start producing granite and producing diorite, and it'll start crushing those down. Now I'm going to need, these are going to have a few different outputs, of course. Because each of these are going to produce 3 different things. So what we're going to do, we're going to pop over and we're going to make some caches. Now I can't remember if there's anything that doubles up on this, but I'm not worried about it. If it does, we'll have extra cache for something later or whatever. So we're just going to make 6. Well, I'm going to have to make some chests first. And then we'll make 6 caches. Okay. And then we're going to need some sort of conduit. We'll probably just go with item conduits because we can. Or item ducts. Honestly, this is slow enough. We'll just go with item ducts for now. Let me grab like 2 servos. Just in case. But the rock crusher might auto output, but I can't recall, to be honest. But you can see it's producing Villiumite, sulfur, rhodocrostite, fluorite, carbonite, and zirconium. So there's not going to be anything doubling up. You know, we've talked about all this stuff before. Nothing new here. We're going to go ahead and just do like this. And then we'll just run it. No, I think I'd rather have it be... What we're going to do, we're going to set up cache here, here. And then we're going to swing this out to, like, say here and do... No, we're not going to have a cache there. We'll instead have cache here, 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 here. Connect that item duct there. And then we'll have a set of caches sitting here. And we're going to go ahead and lock in the two at the end. I specifically want these to be rhodocrostite, because that's going to be used for a crystal binder. And I also want them to be fluorite, because that's going to be used for the crystal binder. We'll go ahead and just lock those in. The rest of this, it doesn't really matter where it goes. So we're going to go ahead and just say ignore redstone, put in our cache here and here. There is, oh yeah, and sulfur as well. Can I put sulfur in there? So we'll have williamite, zirconium, and carbide, I suppose. Sulfur, crushed fluorite, and crushed rhodocrostite. And we're going to go ahead and just lock all this in. So we're going to be pulling from these three caches right here for what we're going to be setting up today. The rest of the stuff's just going to be kind of meh. Zirconium we do use for like bins and stuff like that, so it may see some use, but the rest of the stuff probably not within this series. And that's just going to start kicking away. We can, of course, upgrade these very, very easily. Upgrade that, upgrade these, upgrade that, which we probably will do if we find this being a bit slow, which I imagine we will. Though we're only going to be using this to make the 56 electromagnets, then we're done with the system. Okay, so now we just need to make our, if we take a look at our crystal binder, we're going to be making, of course this, we've already got it, but we're going to be needing to make the calcium sulfate. And then the rest of the stuff, magnesium dust, pulverized obsidian, we can easily get that stuff just by mass crushing. So the calcium sulfate solution, that's going to be crystallizer for actually producing that. And then we're going to have this long little process here. So we're going to need a crystallizer, chemical reactor here, and then the sulfuric acid is another chemical reactor, another chemical reactor, and another chemical reactor. This should all be, a lot of this stuff should be in here, so the crystallizer and the chemical reactors, which I think I ended up using that for the deuterium system. So, okay, so there's 3 chemical reactors. So there's our electrolyzer, and we'll see. I think I'm going to need some more stuff, but we'll start with that and see where we get to. Let's pop over and we'll set this up. And also let me grab some of these. Yeah. This thing has been super handy because you end up needing water everywhere, and instead of running water pipes or whatever, just drop one of these things down. And they're always kind of like a nuisance to craft. Like, I always hate crafting them. But with this little sequential fabricator setup, it's been great. Okay, so first up, for our fluorite water, we're going to start here. The water and crushed fluorite through a fluid enricher. Okay, I didn't make one of those. And that's the, yeah, that's the fluorite there. And so what we're going to do, we're going to set up our fluid enricher. I didn't leave space for the pipes to run over, but that's okay. I'll tell you what, let me actually just, let me move these around a little bit. Like that. And then what we'll do is we'll have the fluid enricher setting, say, right here. And then we'll have the item ducts pump out like that. Don't want that to connect. Let me go get some more servos. We'll drop that on and say you can output. And that's going to start sending some of that fluoride over to this. And then if we put in our infinite water source, like right there, that's going to start producing water for this. And it's going to start creating fluorite water for us. And that's a chunk of it done. That's half of what we need, basically. But it's the easy half. Now we need the sulfuric acid. So we're going to have to start basically all the way back with the electrolyzer, electrolyzing for oxygen here. And also producing hydrogen, deuterium, and all that. Realistically, I could go break down my deuterium system because I don't think we're going to be using it. But I'll probably just void out all this, keep the oxygen gas from the electrolyzer. So what we'll do is we'll just run this out. I could attach it here, but this thing produces so much I don't want it splitting across. So we're going to set it up here and the electrolyzer setting there. And that's going to start running. We're going to definitely have to speed this up because it is crazy slow by default. Actually, let me, since I'm not really using this stuff at the moment, we can make more, but I'd rather just steal these. And then we'll pop back over and set this up. So, energy, and if we did like 32, that's pretty realistic, while keeping the cost not too high. If I did that, 2600 RF per tick, we'll just go with 32. It doesn't have to be crazy fast. Now what I want to do, I want to void these two. So we're going to go ahead and say side configuration void excess on that, and side configuration void excess on that. Because we really only want the oxygen from this. Or actually, no, I'm sorry. Side configuration void all and void all. And that way I can just pump out the oxygen from this. Just makes our lives a little bit easier. Alright, so we've got that coming in. Next up, we have, for this long little process here, oxygen comes in with sulfur dioxide. And then right here, we're going to need oxygen and molten sulfur to make the sulfur dioxide. Honestly, I'm probably going to set up another electrolyzer because we're going to be using an absolute ton of oxygen. But we'll see. We shall see. But let me get... I've been using my other melter, so let me just get a new melter. Oh, I've got one. Cool. And actually, yeah, let me just steal this other electrolyzer, or one other electrolyzer, because it'll just make our lives a bit easier. And since I'm not really using it at the moment, might as well. So we'll set that up there, and another infinite water source here. Run our power up and do the same thing here. Okay, now the melter needs to be fed sulfur. Not sure if I just want to set it up. I think I'm going to set it up right here. And then we'll just run power up to it there. We'll drop in like that. Oops. And that. That should be pretty reasonable on the melter, I think. And let me actually, once again, let me move these around. Just a little bit. Just to make everything a little bit more accessible to the machines that actually need it. And we'll come up, put that in, plop a servo on there, and we're just going to run this up and over like that. And ignore redstone. So that way you can start sending sulfur over to the melter for us. And the melter runs at a pretty good speed, and it's making 666 sulfur per craft. That should be good for us. Okay, so then we combine these two together in a chemical reactor. the oxygen and the sulfur. So let's go ahead. I'm going to need fluid transfer. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to run out fluid conduit here, and we're going to say that you can extract. So it's going to get that sulfur. We're going to run it over to a chemical reactor. Oops, that sits here. That's going to start getting that molten sulfur. And we're going to disable it from connecting to the right side. And then we're going to say that the bottom cannot do the left-hand side. We did not set this up to void. Void. There we go. Only one oxygen. Okay, and then we run this over, connect it there, and that's going to start crafting that together to create our sulfur dioxide. And it's also, no, it doesn't produce any byproduct, just sulfur dioxide. And then for our sulfur trioxide, that with oxygen again in a chemical reactor is going to get us what we need. So let's go ahead, set this up, and let me go get some more fluid conduits also. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's first do this and connect that and say extract's always active. So we just got more oxygen coming from that other electrolyzer to feed these. You can see this is backed up. I'm probably add some speed upgrades, but I may have to speed up the electrolyzers if I do that, just so we're producing more oxygen. But let's go ahead and see. Let's do fluid conduit there, fluid conduit there, and we're just going to say that you extract always active, and we're going to say that side configuration, this cannot come from the top, this cannot come from the bottom, and we'll just plug that up. And that's so, of course, that we don't have oxygen taking up both slots or sulfur taking up both slots. And that's coming in. Go ahead and connect that up with some power. That's going to start running. That's going to make sulfur trioxide. Then we need sulfuric acid, which is sulfur trioxide with water in a chemical reactor. Now the sulfur trioxide produces no byproduct. Perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we're just going to run this out to another chemical reactor setting here. And we're going to say side configuration, you cannot come from the right hand side. You cannot come from the top side. And we're going to put in, oops, we're going to put in a water source here to start filling that up. And then we're just going to put this in. Extract is always active. And then that sulfur trioxide can come into here and it can start making the sulfuric acid. Okay, and then all this just runs into a crystallizer and starts producing our calcium. Let me move this. This is where the bulk of our machines are, but we're going to set this up in here. So what we'll do is we'll just run power down, run it down to here, set up the crystallizer right there. And then we're going to say this just runs down like that. And we're going to say that the... Oh no, I'm sorry. We need a chemical reactor to mix this. Chemical reactor there. We're going to say that this cannot come from the right side. This cannot come from the left side. And extract always active. Extract always active. That's going to go into there and start producing our calcium sulfate. And then that just, of course, goes into a crystallizer. And so we will set the crystallizer up. See, I wish I had power over on this side. And we'll set, we'll have the crystallizer setting, say, here. And the fluid conduit here that's extracting that into the crystallizer once it is done. Which this is pretty slow. I'm going to go ahead and throw in 50% bit of these and see where we get to. Yeah, that's a lot faster now. Oh, and the hydrofluoric acid, we don't want that going into the crystallizer. So let's go ahead and say side configuration, void all. We don't need that stuff. And replace that. Extract. There we go. That looks like it's going to be pretty slow as well. So let me go steal some more upgrades. And we'll drop those in. Dropping those. That's a bit more reasonable. Okay, so that's going to start pumping that out. And then what we're going to do is just have a cache. Cache is going to set, say, here. And we'll just run that up like that. Okay, so that's going to send the calcium sulfate up here. And we are now auto-producing everything that we need for, you know, making all this stuff. So, I'm not sure where the, like, what it's waiting for. It's probably just waiting for this. So let me dump in that and that. Get that running a bit faster, making that sulfuric acid. And then it's probably going to be waiting here. Yeah. Speed that up a little bit. And speed that up a little bit. If I need to make more upgrades, I can. But probably this should be a pretty good rate on it. And fast enough that it should be able to, by the time I get ready for it, I should have most of what I need. Because what I need to do now is make the superconducting electromagnets. Where I'm just going to be crafting out a lot of alloys. And tough alloys, I've got a lot of it, but I'm sure I'm going to have to make more of that. But that's just a material dump. Elite plating is where I need the crystal binder. So I just need to crush up these to get that. That's not a big deal, and that crafts 2 at a time. The boron, the DU plating, I am going to need sulfur here. And uranium-238, which we've got plenty of. And then that and that. It's just a big material dump at this point. So I'm going to get those crafted up. I need, in total, I'm going to need 56 of them. Basically just a whole lot of materials. So I'm going to start getting that stuff together. And at this point, I am going to wrap up this episode here because I know it's wrapping up point. I was just editing the footage. And I'm going to let this run for a little bit. I'm going to get those things crafted up so we can get our electromagnets. And then that means next episode, we are going to be setting up our high impact compactor. Probably getting ourselves our first bits of diamonds. And possibly making our bedrock pickaxe. So, that means next episode we might actually leave the compact world. We'll see. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button. And go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care. Stay safe. I'll see you guys then.